もう常に何かしらの嫌がらせとかは受けてたから、ずっと私のお母さんに、なんで黒人と結婚したのって、なんで私をこの肌の色に産んだのっていうのを。
My hair was curly and kinky and different, my skin color was different, and I was being bullied hardcore for it.
Most Japanese people in first are scared of us.
Scared of black people.
Right. No one honest. If you're gonna talk, you gotta talk the truth. They're scared of us.
And then like I've gone to schools like when I used to teach English, and like as soon as I walk in a room, like kids start crying.
Konnichiwa, minasan. Kyo desu. So in today's video, I'm going to be looking at what's it like for blacks to live in Japan. Looking forward to reacting to this video, but before that, guys, we are close to 200,000 subscribers, so if you haven't already, like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Japan is a nation rich in history and culture. Its art, music, and food are very distinct.
Very.
And have made their influences around the world. But did you know that until about 150 years ago, Japan had been closed to almost all foreigners for nearly 2 centuries? Because of colonial rule and religious reasons, the military government, known as the Tokugawa shogunate, limited foreign ties and shut down the country's borders. In 1853, the U.S. Navy led a small expedition that strongly compelled Japan to enter trade with the West and end their isolation from the world. Today, Japan is still one of the most ethnically homogenous countries, with 98.5% of the population being Japanese. Of the remaining 1.5%, only 0.02% are black. We brought together a spectrum of black people. Some are Japanese natives, while others are expats, to share their unique stories about culture, community, and the black experience in Japan. I have felt pressured to use skin lightening products. 3, 2, 1.
もう完全に岐阜県って田舎の、そう、地方のところで育ったから、私の兄弟以外に同じ肌の色の人を見たことがなくて、
Right.
もう常に何かしらの嫌がらせとかは受けてたから、ずっと私のお母さんに、なんで黒人と結婚したのって、なんで私をこの肌の色に産んだのっていうのをすごく言い続けていたし、ただ今は本当にすごくリスペクトしてるし、自分の肌の色が大好きだし、ちょうど3ヶ月前ナイジェリアにしばらく行ったことがあって、その時にすごいたくさんの
It's a huge trend that's been happening in the Caribbean and Africa as well.
見た時にすごい悲しくて。
I can't understand why they do that, because they assume that becoming much lighter, you're gonna have more opportunities in any kind of industry.
You're treated differently.
You treat differently. For example, like if I go back to Africa, right, they'll call me boss right away just because of
They call you what?
Boss.
Boss.
Yeah, boss, please wait, stop, no boss, because I just have a light skin, so if you're light, you have more opportunities, and I think it also applies here, but personally, I've never really gone through that kind of thing, yeah.
I knew that I looked different, and I didn't want to look different. It was just a painful experience, so I didn't know about skin whitening, but I wish my skin looked like everybody else. My mom's Japanese and my dad's black, and I'm born and raised in Yokohama, Japan. The first time I realized I was black was when I went to a Japanese school and not a single kid looked like me. I wasn't aware of what race was at the time, but I knew that my hair was curly and kinky and different, my skin color was different, and I was being bullied hardcore for it.
Reimu?
私は、日本人だけど、ブラックのルーツがあって、見た目もブラックの女性なんですけど、私も日本人であって、日本にも私はナイジェリア生まれです。私の両親は私が5歳の時に離婚をしたので、そこから私の兄弟と母で、母の実家で過ごしたので、 見た目が、ブラックっていうこともあってよく外国人って言われることがあったので、同年代の女の子たちや、男たち以上に自分が日本人であるってことを周りに認めてもらうために自分をそういう風に変えなきゃいけない環境下にいたっていうのは子供ながらにやっぱりストレスがかかるような状況だったと思うし、そういう風に思わないといけない環境下に置かれる子供たちが一人でも減ればいいなって。
Dating in Japan is hard for me. 3, 2, 1.
Wow.
So what's wrong?
What's wrong with you?
Oh, wait, sorry.
I mean, like, who are your interests in the first place? Like, who are you trying to approach? Honestly, like, really talkative people.
In this country?
In this country, that's the thing.
That's why you don't
So I
like
think
it.
that's where I think that's where the mismatch is. And honestly, from my experience, like, usually Japanese people want to date, the typical, like, Caucasian male. So I really struggle with that area.
I would have to disagree with you.
I have to disagree with you.
It is separated. Like, you're gonna find Japanese who only like Latins or only like blacks or only, but they definitely like the whole spectrum of race.
Yeah.
What I noticed, like, Black and Japanese, American and Japanese culture is so different. You know how when we see friends, we hug, hi, how have you been? And sometimes Japanese men are like, oh, she likes me because she touched me. And it's like, oh, no.
Right. That
No,
is
I'm
true.
just saying
That is
hi.
true. That is
For
true.
me, like, for first appearances, it doesn't seem like I'm really desirable. It's like my white friends are more desirable. But when I start the conversation, it's like equal playing ground. That's what I feel.
私は日本とナイジェリアのミックスで完全に日本で育って母国語が日本語だから、でも、基本的には日本人とデートする場合は何も問題がないし、
言葉のね、の壁がない。
そう。
だから今言ってることは、だから文化の違いの問題が多かった。けどもちろんその文化の違いがないから、どっちが問題？その日本人が問題か、私たちがない。
自分だったらなぜ日本人と付き合うのが難しいかというと、話しても内容がどうしても浅いんだよ。
It has a lot to do with the culture and the way you are brought up.
Is this language problem?
Well, it's not a language problem.
I think it's a cultural problem. But the cultural problem here, one thing is, and honest, we have to be honest.
Yeah.
Most of the Japanese people in first are scared of us.
Scared of black people. I
Right.
think black
No,
people.
and honest. If you're going to talk, you got to talk the truth. They're scared of us. The little kids are taught. They're standing there with the parent, and the parent,
pulls them away.
behind the back. Instead of teaching them that it's no difference. So if we're going to talk about how to date and who to date and where you date, you got to also think about where it comes from. And it comes from the way they're taught. And the way you're taught has a lot to do with the way you live.
I've had experiences with the police in Japan. 3, 2, 1.
Are you just changing because everyone else is going to that side?
私ミスユニバースジャパン2020の大会に出ていて、そう Thank you so much 家に帰る途中に警察に止められて、なぜなら時間がもう12時前とかにすごい大きいカバンを持って駅をこうやって歩いてたから警察に止められて、そのカバンの中身何ですか、見ていいですかって聞かれたんですよね。夜の12時だのが人生で初めてだったんですよ。その警察にその時にこれは多分黒人の見た目だったから、それは本当に、びっくりしたんですけど、結構その怪しむもののその肩書きとか実際明らかになったら、彼らはそのね疑う心はないのかなって思った時に、ちょっともどかしい気持ちではあったけど。
I have a brother who's like 3 years older than me. Like, ever since we were kids, if we're on bicycles together, if there's a police officer, 100% they will stop my brother. And I can see him changing his demeanor. He's like, oh no, I'm a good guy. I'm friendly.
The code switch.
I'm not that bad. And it's so heartbreaking to see someone you love be treated like that.
I get stopped like all the time. Like I think like I just look aggressive.
All of us have gotten checked at a certain point in life, but did we think that police would start using violence against us?
Nah.
Right? I think that's really a huge point that I could give the Japanese police for, but there is some concerns.
Interesting.
I feel accepted by the Japanese community. 3, 2, 1.
Might be a tough one. Ooh.
Having came here, it's not like, I'm actively being pushed back in society in some way. I mean, the Japanese people that I do encounter, of course, they generally just open up. They listen first. If you don't agree with them, then you don't agree with them. I think that's just that simple. I've gotten this far, I think. So I don't really have too much to complain about.
They keep moving.
In my case, the reason why I feel like I'm still not accepted here, because I think Japanese media plays a huge role when it comes to Japanese accepting you. Half Japanese and half Zambian, and I moved to Japan 13 years ago. And the thing that surprises me the most is that many Japanese people don't really have a good image about Africa. Before, I used to be really emotional, whenever I felt angry or, express my opinions without, listening. So I've learned to listen to other people more. I think being a mixture of both, wonderful worlds, I feel this sense of responsibility and to break down ethno stereotype. And I just wish that Japanese people would be more curious to find out, the good side of Africa.
Like in Japan, like I'm a big guy, right? Like when I was in the States, like I'm not so big, but like, and then yeah, like I've gone to schools, like when I used to teach English, and like as soon as I walk in a room, like kids start crying.
Crying? How did that make you feel?
I felt bad for the children.
Oh.
Like I felt like, oh man, like did I do something wrong? And which is and then so I had to adjust my presence, right? Like adjust my presence so that. And so even in America, like when I go home now, everyone says I don't act American. They're like, dude, like you act Japanese.
I was
Happened to me when I came
in
back.
Japan my whole life, so my mannerisms is kind of like pretty Japanese. Like for example, if my American friends that are black, if they sit on the train, nobody, literally packed train, nobody will sit next to them. And so I feel like because I know the mannerisms or how to act or how to make myself small, I'm accepted more.
More approachable, maybe.
More fit in.
My language is different too. In Japanese, I'm a lot nicer. In English, I'm like, yo, what's up?
Happens a lot. Me
bilingual. Kind of blending somehow.
Yeah.
You said on the train, like you make yourself small.
Yeah.
In some cases, I read a book, for example, because that makes you more approachable.
Yeah.
So like
No. You're fitting into being quiet. Japan, first thing they teach you, shiska, shh, don't talk. But if you stop and look, do they really feel this with all the suicide rate? If you hold back everything you're feeling and you have nobody to share it to, what does the Japanese do?
Well, but Steve, you gotta understand though. At the same time, the reason why I think I understand why Aisha is like this, right?
Yeah.
It's because we're half. We have a part of us that still has to feel like we have to conform in some way because we're still half. We're a part of this country.
Two cultures.
It's a part of the culture. At least understand where our culture is from.
Maybe I'm getting it wrong. That you have to be like this here and you have to be like this here.
I do it as my first foot into because they're not familiar with like a black female American, right? So it's my foot to just introduce myself or to talk to them like kind of like shy or just like very apprehensively because that's what they're used to from Japanese people.
You gotta speak their language.
So then after they get
if you want to win the people over, become like them.
Act appropriately.
But
for
you're
each
saying
situation.
act.
Well, yeah, we're acting.
You're saying act. Everybody's saying act. That's acting.
No, it's not a bad thing.
But I don't think that we are acting.
Yeah, we're not acting. It's just two different cultures. But it's very American to be like, this is not good. It should be more this way. It should be more. Japanese people enjoy this way. And they feel comfortable in this way. This is the culture.
I will live in Japan for the rest of my life. 3, 2, 1.
Yikes.
I think as a Westerner coming to Japan, we know we can easily see the opportunities and we jump on them because I have a different mindset. So will I stay in Japan? I'm not really sure, but I like what I'm doing and I see so much opportunity here. There's so many voids that I can fill.
I just don't feel Japan as a society is a good place to raise up your kids.
Why is that?
We're coming from Africa, sometimes we don't even have the best opportunities. But in Japan, they're just flooded with so much opportunity and so much and they take that for granted.
I mean, for me, it just depends on career, I guess. If something takes off and my best opportunity is just to stay in Japan, of course I'll take it. It's not like I want to leave the place.
Right now I'm happy. I'm doing what I like. I live alone, so sometimes it's lonely. But besides that, I'm happy here. I have a lot of great friends. But to stay here forever, I don't know.
エンターテインメントってなった時に、さっきお話ししたみたいに、まだ日本じゃ機会が少なくて、を与えた方が思ってるからこそ、今は日本にいるべきじゃない時だから、今ここに立ってるかな。
アイシャはずっと小さい頃から大人になるまでずっと日本に住んでて I had some great experiences working in Japan and I'm so thankful for it, but I wonder what it's like living in America. I wonder what it's like to walk down the street and not have everybody stare at me and see people that look like me and talk like me,
So, as a YouTuber, I get the same questions over and over and over, especially from an American audience. What is it like being black in this country? What is the racism like? Or do you experience racism? And I think our blackness hasn't really interfered much or hasn't gotten in the way of opportunities. But it's really difficult explaining this to my family, to my friends, to my subscribers, because they get angry saying racism does exist and they try to fight me.
So I think that's an interesting point. Part of me had the same feeling that once we're here, we're not experiencing the vitriol and color doesn't really matter. We get to exist as in our space that we chose to, and then we get to just do that and focus on that. But we also have to remember that we are kind of the exceptions to the rule, right? And so the rest of America, Black America, who've probably never even left their state, who may never even leave their city. So we have to kind of have empathy, I guess, right? And then be able to explain to them what our experiences are, because that was where we were. And so we have to be able to revert back to our former selves to then be able to get them to be where we are, right?
Interesting video. There was really a lot I can comment on, but I think the main thing is culture. I think just the nature of Japanese society being so isolated, there's going to be a lot of barriers when it comes to interacting with people who are non-Japanese. I think it's important to research the culture, know what you're getting yourself into. If you desire to marry a Japanese person, I think it's also important for you as a parent to know the struggles that your half Japanese children are going to go through in Japan. I think in the future, Japan will be more updated to the rest of the world when it comes to being exposed to other races of people. But I think for now, anyone going to Japan, you gotta be prepared to know that these are how the Japanese have always lived. And that if you wanna make an impact, you have to first adapt yourself to the people. And once you've won their hearts, then you can start implementing ideas for change. But that's what I think. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. Also hit that bell as well to get notified whenever we post a video. Hanto, arigatou gozaimasu. Mina, kiyotsukete. Ja ne.